Good afternoon. So today I thought I would come on and show you some very small, quick designs to getting you started into the design side of painting. Couple very quick things. This is really about you just finding what you like to do, and my field is towards the design side, but this is getting you into quick ideas, not having any pre-thought ideas that are kind of already done for you. So this is just working with your imagination, just letting your whole sort of brain relax, and also getting yourself to believe that you can do anything and getting marks down on the paper. So as you can see, these were some very quick designs. In fact, I think I probably took around about an hour, maybe 60 minutes to create different ideas, just playing with paintbrush. And that's how I look at it as mark making ideas. But some of them worked out, some of them don't. And again, I turn these into repeat patterns. So this one was just working with a paintbrush, a flathead paintbrush, and just doing marks. And I have my favourite colours, as you know already. So from this, I'm really just exploring. I'm exploring layering of paint and bringing in light colours, dark colours. That's one. This is another one, just playing with the flow of lines. And again, it was just built up. I think I was using the flat brush for most of it, but I did go into getting a thicker round brush, and then slightly thinner round brush to just get in the mode of actually drawing. So, well, painting with drawing with the paintbrush and the paints, rather than worrying about having something pre-drawn. This is another idea, just ideas of twigs and trees and leaves. Where I live, I've got like loads and loads of trees, so I do gain inspiration from things like that. But each one of these, I will say, they probably each took me maybe about 10 minutes to do. So it's about coming up with some quick ideas. Another idea I was just trying out the flow of the brush and seeing what it was doing, but it reminded me of leaves. This is probably the most unfinished one, but again, it's just creating those ideas that may come into something else. And equally, I may actually take this out and collage it as well. So all the different types of things you can do. This was the first one. And when I started this, it was like 10 o'clock, nearly 11 o'clock at night when I started, and I got carried away, and I just say, oh, this is quite nice. This is relaxing. Sometimes when you come in from work, you just want to do something really relaxing and just no reason for doing it. So this is another one, and that's again just playing with the actual flat brush and dipping it in several colors, and just coming out with different colors, and not worrying about what's actually happening there. Another idea, just letting the ideas flow out, and again looking at the brush. So again, this was again done with the flat brush. In fact, I think most of it was done with the flat brush, thinking back to what I was doing, and just playing around with colour. But I just like the idea of, I think I had a flower in mind for that. I just let the ideas happen. So this one also was just playing around and smudging the colours and then doing a design over the top. So there's nothing, overly blended, very twee. very twee design, which could work on anything. And I kind of just get to the point where just create. Don't worry about what you're doing, just create. So all these little things are there for inspiration. So what I'm going to do with you today, I work on, usually this is heavy duty wallpaper. If I haven't got wallpaper, I've got cartridge paper, usually about 170, 180 in thickness. So I work on a lot of wallpaper. This is the heavy duty one, as I mentioned, but I also use the medium and I also use the much lighter one depending what I'm doing. So we're going to work with this one. I've got here Liquitex paint. I really like these, and today I'm actually going to go in, which is not my usual colours at all, from my blues and greens and purples, into using reds and pink. So I've got the yellow, reds, different types of, you've got a cadmium red here, and you've also got a cadmium red in a different make, which will be slightly different. You've got a pink, so I do like Liquitex. I find it very soft to use. I think as a designer, you kind of build up. I mean, if I look back in the days when I used to do designs at a particular studio I used to be in, it used to be just gouache. Now, gouache is very much like a bit of acrylic, but more towards the watercolor. So it doesn't really matter these days. You know, that particular make I like, but there's also different other things, like you've got System 3 by De La Rowley, which are also nice, but very thick. So they're quite a good quality of paint. Golden is another one, lovely to work with. There's all these different makes you can get, but let's start with this. Now, I do have palettes, but I'm a very naughty person who, I've got a very bad habit where I won't even squeeze out the paint. I will basically just use it straight from the tube and then go in with another colour, because I'm always using, so it's a very naughty habit. It's whether you want to do it or not. So this is just an old cardboard Kleenex box, and I'm just going to put it on there. I don't ever tend to put things out on the side. I'm what's called a lazy painter at times. I know some people like to have all their paint squeezed out on a palette, but I've got this thing about waste, and I think that try not to waste paint. Paint's got very expensive as we go on. So that was the cadmium Liquitex. Now I'm going to put the cadmium red from the Winsor and Newton, and you may see the difference. There's not that much. Actually, this one's a little bit more creamier than that one, but you may see the difference when we do the mix. So it doesn't look that much difference, although if we got really close, and I'm going to hold that up to the camera, that one is actually got a little bit more red, whereas this is a bit more paler. Anyway, very slight. I'm going to bring in some orange. And again, light orange, and I'm going to bring in some white. Now, using white is obviously going to dull it down, but it's quite nice to have white as a colour that kind of just pales things down. I've got here a cadmium yellow, but I've also got a yellow light as well, so that you can play with, because all these different colours, and this is where your colour mixing comes in. So these are my warm colours, so anything to do with kind of sunshine and brightness. I think today in England we need it because the weather is not great. All right, so we've just had a batch of snow come in. So this is what is quite nice to use. So I've just got my colours there. I'm going to place that at the side, as you can see. I've got just, I work with a lot of hot water. I don't know why, but I do. And I'm going to take this brush here, and I have got the other one just in case, and I've got the thicker one as well. So I'm just going to wet that down. Excuse me. And we're just going to play. So I tend to mix on the paper as we go along, and I'm just going to let the idea flow out. So, and it's quite nice to just let it drag it. So don't have any, doesn't have to be perfect. And again, bringing that round and drag it. Okay. So, and it'll probably go wrong somewhere, but I'm not really worried because I'm not really doing anything specific. So I'm just kind of playing with the design, and this is where you can start to just let your ideas. Just that looks like a face already. And I haven't even done anything specific. So now I'm just going to use a little bit more water. You don't have to use water with acrylics. Don't have to, but today I'm using it. So I'm just going to maybe just let that flow. Okay, and then if we're looking at a face, that is like a cheekbone and another cheekbone, but I'm not looking at it like that. I'm looking more at design. I do figurative stuff, but this one we're just letting it flow. So, and I'm now just gonna, with the same brush, I'm just gonna go in with a bit of lemon yellow, and I'm just gonna let that flow through and allow the mix to happen. Don't worry about, you know, it not happening. You're just having a play at what you're doing and using a flat brush. I don't use flat brushes that much, but I do like, I don't know why I don't use them actually. I do like to, because you can drag. So that's already having some sort of effect on, you know, maybe what you're doing. So just looking at a little bit more. It's very important that you just play, and you know, you're not doing it for anything. I'm just showing the technique. Whether this goes into a design, I have no idea, or maybe I just take a section of it. But at this moment, I'm not really worried about that. It's almost like looking as if it's fire. So I'm just playing really with the design and the flow. I'm going to go in with a little bit of pink. Now this pink is a little bit harder. So I'm just using a little bit of water to lighten. And again, just letting, and it doesn't matter whether it goes over the top. Sometimes you get a nice blend. Sometimes I'm just looking very paisley, actually. This is paisley designs. And just allowing, and again, I kind of work on the idea of Fibonacci of 3. Not always, but some. A little bit of paint coming up, which is quite hard. Go and put the paintbrush in again. Don't worry if there's water that comes out. And then I'm going to try the other red, and I'm going to just bring in, and actually you can already see that that is actually quite a lot softer than the other one. So just letting it flow. Red and pink are lovely together. Back in the 70s they used to say never mix things like that, but it doesn't matter these days. We've come quite a long way in terms of colour mixing generally. I have got this white sheet down, this white paper down at the moment, so it doesn't matter whether you go on to the paper and you're just letting it flow. And what's quite nice is the texture coming through. I'm going to go in with this orange. We haven't used that yet, and that's quite a nice vibrancy. I'm letting that flow in there. And again, if you want to add more water, you can add more water. So that's just going to go in there. And bring it down here. So most of you probably realise that I work a lot with the inks that I am always using. So today it's a little bit different, though I may fill in with them. And you're just bringing in, so it's just allowing you to create and having a play. It's very important that you play and you just kind of find yourself within your work, and you don't have to hold anything back and sort of kind of pretense of what you want to do. Now what I didn't do is that I said I was going to use it was some white, but I didn't put it on the palette now. So I'm just literally playing, and I've got a thing that's come up there. So if you get any bits, you can literally just take them off and just put them on the side. Put in a little bit more water. What colour am I missing? So I'm going to go back in with this orange, darker orange. I'm going to take it up through the middle. A bit more there. So you don't have to work large. Don't know where that's coming in from. I've got a bit of black coming there. You don't have to work large. You can work small, and in fact this is less than A5 size. It's probably the width, but a little bit more would give you A5. So anything that will get you to just start painting. I think some people are quite scared of painting because they feel that it's got to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're just trying things out. Okay. And a little bit more water. I'm just going to dip that in. So again, this hasn't really taken me that long. It's probably taken me about 6 minutes. Okay, and now I'm just going to blend in, and this is where I'm going to use the water, and I'm just going to blend in on the sides. You don't have to do it. It's just quite nice to not always have a white side, and that's why I've got also this white down, so that you can just paint onto the actual paper. So, and then just blending, and I may add something else in later on. I could come back in with black and add more, but then it changes it. So I'm trying to come out my usual colours, and this is just a little bit. So I'm going to leave that one at that, and let's start another one very quickly. So let's grab another piece. Still working with my flat brush, but that one's quite, so it's just very simple. And already you could frame that. You could frame it, or you can put on a card and send it to somebody. So we're just going to do a little bit of a wash, okay? So doing like a wet surface, okay? Nothing too much. I'm just getting rid of actually the paint on my brush and working on it very quickly, okay? So this time around, I'm going to kind of do the growth from the side. And you can see, you can actually produce quite a lot of work without even really taking too long. So now I'm just, and this spreads as well. So this one, because I've put down a watery background, now it's just spreading. Okay, so I'm just kind of doing, I just had the idea of doing something like fire. So just letting that flow. There's not really anything specifically, just let it flow in. When you've got water down, it's quite nice to let it spread, and just remember to protect your tables, okay, which are important. We're going to bring in some yellow. So yellow and red will make an orangey colour if it blends well. It's interesting when you start doing colour, because you actually sometimes some colours don't mix well, and that's just something that is thinking about having something that's quite nice. So this is kind of like ready, so that already it's gone to kind of looking at yellow, has gone into the orange. So I'm going to come back with, I've just covered that over very quickly, and you're just creating a surface. I may, use that for collage. I'm just going to go with a bit more yellow. So I'm bringing the yellow a bit more streaking. And again, bringing yellow onto it. I should have, sorry, probably I'm reaching over. I'm probably on the wrong side of having that. But what I would do is probably stitch into this and introduce some threads, and that would be quite nice as well, to just stitch in and not to worry. I'll show that on another video. So very quick designs, just plain. I'm bringing that one, sort of like some bit more heavier. Bit heavier. Okay, so that's very specific, I think, maybe. I'm going to come back in with a bit more red and bring it on that side. So again, very different from this one, which was more design. This you're just playing and getting used to the paint, and then you're working with water to see what else you can bring out. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you very much. If you like my videos, just subscribe and hit the like button. And if you want to ask me anything, I'm quite happy to help you on your journey. Bye for now.